Hi, Kieran. Hello, AS. I've been bored, stuck in the house. It is unbelievably hot outside. We have been over 30 degrees Celsius for the last couple of weeks, and the last few days have been 33 to 37 Celsius, and it's going to continue 33 to 37 Celsius for at least till Wednesday of this week. It is a scorcher. We're not used to temperatures like this time of year. August, yes. End of June, early July, no. Warning. The content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter was not suitable for his own children when they were young, and he was a permissive parent. And yet he behaved that way anyhow. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains will be running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence. And any rebroadcast or transmission of this stream without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the rules when building a layout. It's your layout, do what you want. Don't tell someone what to do unless they ask you what they should do. And don't call out, criticize, or mock another channel on your channel. This particular page is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. So strap in, buckle up, and prepare for an hour or two of absolute sheer boredom. All right. Yeah, literally, I am bored out of my mind. Normally, I might be out walking or playing tennis or riding bikes, but it is just too bleeding hot. And I've been stuck in the house, and we've had anniversaries and holidays and family parties, and now it's my kids' birthdays. And right now, I'm just kind of. My wife's out doing a little shopping, and I'm bored. So I don't know if anybody's here or not, but I see I've got 7 watching, waiting to see what's going on. So let's look at the trains you have. I've got my 11-lane view up. And we are running today my Austrian Railjet right here as you look from left to right. The Austrian Railjet will be running along with my ICE3, which is almost always on my layout. And for the last time for a while, but I haven't run this train in months and months, so I've been running them a little bit. We have my Regiobahn. The locomotive is a Class 147. That is a new class of locomotive that went into service in Germany. It's an upgrade of the previous 146, the 146-1 and the 146-2. Now they've just completely redesigned and upgraded it. Electric locomotive, Class 147. That's piloting the Regiobahn. By the way, if you want to know, the Austrian Railjet, the locomotive on that is called a Taurus. Taurus is made by the Siemens company, I believe. This is the class 1116 Taurus, although I don't really know the difference between 1116 and a 1216. The Czech railjet, which you see, the Czech railjet locomotive, which you see right here, is also a Taurus. These two are basically the same locomotive, but that Czech Taurus is a 1216, a class 1216. So we've got the Austrian is 1116, the Czech is a 1216. Hi, Dale, and hi, Rule 1, welcome. And hi, Christopher. And I just like to do this. People think I'm crazy. Well, I am, so there it is. And then I'm running, he hasn't run in a couple of months, so I'm bringing back out my diesel Lint Class 648 Nordvestbahn, Northwest Rail, as it would translate. And then back in the corner, I've got my other Lint Class right here, my other Lint Class locomotive hiding in the background. So I'll be getting these up here in a minute or two. I'm just here for a little while. My wife is out grocery shopping. We went to the markets yesterday and bought the stuff we like to buy fresh, but now she's doing the main grocery shopping this morning. So I might step out for a couple of minutes while when she returns to help bring in the bags. But otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get these going. And then you guys chat or ask whatever you want. I'll just be here for a couple of hours. About noon I will be getting off because I have to start cooking lasagna. So I always like to do this. Hopefully it doesn't show up well on the mic, but I want to get everybody ready to go. Whoop. Let's get the activation on, so you'll start seeing their lights coming off and on. And should be all set. Got to get everybody ready. I think we're good. So I love to do this with this one, but you really can't hear it. I try, but it's just impossible. Letting the railjet fire up. I don't know if anybody over the mic hears that. I watched the last video, and the Austrian Railjets, the Taurus locomotive, is called the Singing Locomotive because it plays scales. Let's see who's next. Let's get this guy rolling. Yeah, we'll start him off at one of their higher speeds. Hello, Gareth. Welcome and thank you. What is 3 p.m.? Well, it's about 3:24 BST right now. All right, I got a Czech railjet that wants to get going, so let's get him happening. Yeah, Gareth, I'm doing pretty good. Bored out of my mind because really I'm housebound. That railjet is going the wrong way. Yeah, crazy Czechs. I should take that driver and knock him to the ground. Then he'd be a bounce Czech. Never mind, that was really bad. And you. There you go. Get going. Get going. Oh, sometimes they need a little encouragement. All right. For those of you who might be new, I doubt any of you are. Hey, Calico Does Games, how are you? This is a map of the layout. You are looking at it as if you were standing behind me. We have 5 camera angles. If you pay attention, on the left-hand side, we'll show you, but in the upper left-hand corner, we have what's called up the ramp. Then we have the station view, the village view, the 11-lane view, and the long run. So we'll kind of take you through those, but this is kind of as you see it. So I will start with the station view, which is the bottom left-hand corner of the map. There's nobody there right now, but this is Delmenhorst Station. It is an actual station. This is a 100% scale, accurate, custom-made version. You can't really see much from here. But this is the city of Delmenhorst, which is about 9 miles west of the city of Bremen in northwest Germany. I probably should pull up and add a map of that area so you know what we're talking about. The ICE flying through it right now. And the Regiobahn coming in. But that is the city of Delmenhorst, a city I have spent at least 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, about 15 times in my life. Here comes the railjet, except the railjet would never actually go through because this is far too north for railjets. But that's that. This is the village view, so you can look in the distance and see the station. So they come out of the station and go around here. I put up a little scenic card in the background just to make it look that much cheaper. Rule 1, at the risk of hurting feelings, don't feel special. I make everybody a mod. That way you can all boot each other. But I expect nothing but politeness and friendship here. Uh-oh. Not again. What was that about? Apparently I need to adjust something. The last 2 times I've run my trains, I just have out of the blue a little stall. And the metronome is still on the tracks. He's just parked. All right, so anyhow, that's that. And then, of course, the view I tend to leave up the most, the 11-lane view, because there are 11 lanes across the back. And you can see the ICE-3 and the Czech railjet coming through. And the Austrian railjet coming in, which is still probably my favorite train. And yes, I bought that train because of its looks. We make fun like, oh, women only buy trains because of the colors. That's exactly why we buy them, guys. We love the liveries. And what's the livery? The patterns and colors. Let's not be sexist here. I always like that view of the background, the train's running, other than a couple of the pictures are coming off the wall. Have to somehow get back there and tape those up. But when I built this table, as any intelligent designer would know, you really should not be more than 3 feet of reach. And I've got 2 8-foot sections, so there are areas I cannot reach. In fact, that sounds like the wife is home right now from the groceries. Everybody's a mod, Calico. Everybody's a mod. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on, well, let's go through the rest of the views real quick. That's the 11 lane. This is called the long run. And you can see me. And you can see the windmill. That's the long run. And then I'm going to give this a second, because we got a couple of guys coming up. And then we have up the ramp. And I will put this on the multi-scene picture, and I'll be back in a second. Everything should be fine, I hope. Hey, Steve Harper, welcome. Sorry, I'm going through everything. Chris, hi. I will be right back. Give me a couple of minutes. Okay, apparently she got all the groceries in without me. Just proves if I take long enough, I don't have to do any work. And in case you're wondering, how can I walk away from this? My Central Station 3 has an automatic shutoff. If a train derails, it sends a signal. And it shuts everything off. So if one of my train derails, my Central Station 3 gets a signal and it shuts everything down. Hello, John. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, I am still furloughed from work for a while, so I don't go back to work until mid-August. And even then, we're not quite sure how that's going to happen. But we'll find out sooner or later. And we are having, as some of you have heard over and over from me, we are having a massive heat wave, which is very unusual for this time of year. We usually can have a couple of hot days in June here in Toledo, Ohio, USA. We can have a couple of hot days. We'll have a lot of days over the 80s, but in June, it rarely gets into the 90s. You know, every now and then we'll have a day or two in the 90s in June. And July, you know, I'd say the average temperature in Toledo in July is probably 82, 83. Well, we have been over 90 degrees for at least a week, over 85 degrees every day for about 2 weeks. We have been over 95 the last 3 days. And we were 97, 98 yesterday, and we're going to be 97, 98 today, possibly close to 100 tomorrow, mid-90s on Wednesday, and then it's going to cool down into the upper 80s. And for this time of year in Toledo, that's really, really weird. We haven't had rain in, about a week and a half. We had one night where we had some thunderstorms and got a quick, heavy downpour. So, yeah, I don't have any yard work to do, and I wouldn't want to do it in this heat. Yes, in case you haven't noticed it, everybody gets a spanner. So anyhow, yeah, I am bored, so I went online for a bit. A little bit later, I have to make lasagna. The last 2 weeks, 10 days are a very busy time here in the Dodge household. My wife and I had our anniversary, and of course, all of you know that about a week and a half ago, while we were celebrating our anniversary, we were finally allowed to announce we're going to be grandparents for the first time in January. Early indications are it's going to be a granddaughter, but let's not put any labels on the kid just yet. But everything's going well so far. And then we have July 4th, and then my daughter has a birthday today. She's 28, and she still lives with us. And then my son has a birthday tomorrow. I have an older daughter. Her birthday's in October. She'll be 32 this year. She's the one who is going to have a baby. So from June 28th to July 6th, it's busy, 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 busy. And even though my kids are all grown, my wife still has birthday parties for them. My wife refuses to cut the umbilical cord. Thank you. So anyhow, my kids always get to pick what they want, and we take them out to eat or we cook at home or whatever. But for their birthday, we give them what they want to eat. And one of my two kids, the two kids that have July birthdays, one of them always picks my lasagna. My wife encourages it because it means she doesn't have to cook because I make the lasagna. I got taught how to do it by an old Norwegian woman, so it's true and accurate lasagna. Kidding. I don't have an Italian bone in my body, but I was taught how to make lasagna by an Italian woman at a local market when I was a younger man, and I still go to their market to buy my lasagna goods. Little place in Toledo called Sofo's. Chris, we are train hobbyists. We always have birthdays. In fact, you were just talking about things you bought recently. So those are late prezzies, aren't they? Those are late prezzies. I've got all kinds of late presents. Fortunately, Father's Day helps cover some of it too. Let's see, Wednesday, 10 o'clock. Yeah, I should be good for that AS. Yeah, my morning schedule is I get up somewhere, during the work year, I get up at 5. Actually, about 4:45. I get up about 5. Once I'm not working, when I'm not working, I like to sleep in till 8. Sometimes I'll wake up at 7:30, 8 o'clock, but I won't get out of bed till 8:30. But if you really care, and even if you don't, too bad, I'm going to tell you, I have a routine I have to do. I get up and I have to do back stretches. This is from the back injury that laid me up for several months from late December through early May. So I have to do a series of back stretches to keep my back going, and then I do whatever morning chores are in the house. I tend to go outside, sit in the yard, have breakfast in the yard, and do whatever weeding. We have a small yard, so any yard work might take 10 minutes. Or I sit and watch my wife water the flowers. Tuesdays and Thursdays, my wife and I get up early and go play tennis because I need the exercise. I need to be moving. So that's my morning routine. We used to go to the gym during this time off when we're not working. We'd go to the gym and work out for a couple hours, but we're not going to the gym right now. We're both very uncomfortable going out to these places. We'd like to try to get comfortable, but we're very... my wife has bad asthma, and my oldest daughter, not my oldest daughter, I'm sorry, my daughter whose birthday is today, Elizabeth, she has severe lung problems. And so, yeah, we're very careful about risking the showstopper. Anyhow, so going back, so yeah, I make a good lasagna. I'm quite proud of it. I make a good lasagna. What? Nobody gave me a laugh out loud for the Norwegian lasagna joke. Ugh. Tough audience. Tough audience. Speaking of Italian, here's a true and boring fact. I was named after an Italian hitman for the Detroit Mafia. I kid you not. My dad went to school with a gentleman named Anthony LaPaglia. And my dad always was friends with Anthony in junior high and high school. And my dad always said, I love that name, Anthony. I love that name, Anthony. I'm going to name my first son Anthony. So my dad named me Anthony. And when I was about the age of 5 or 6, Anthony LaPaglia was arrested in Detroit for multiple murders for the mob. And I just remember my dad saying, oh, that's the Anthony I named you after. So I was named after a mafia hitman. So as a kid, my family called me Tony. And I really didn't like Tony, but they were going to call me Tony. And as Chris will point out, when I'm mad at myself, even online, on video, I will call myself Tony when I'm mad at myself, because I associate Tony with anger. So somewhere in my 20s, I became Anthony. I made myself Anthony. My wife also will, if she calls me by name, she calls me Tony. All right, well, Aberystwyth, we will keep our fingers crossed and hope it leads to very good things for you. Let's see what's happening at the Village View. I don't know if I updated it on Friday. I probably did when I was going live. My Fowler car system is back to where it was, but I still have to get some new sensors placed and hope that it starts working completely remotely the way it's supposed to. So on one of these videos, I'll move one of the cameras and let you see the Fowler car system in action. Welcome, WMOID. That's a new name. Tell us a bit about yourself, WMOID. By the way, Kieran, your video this morning was, dare I say, cute and funny. I enjoyed it. This was the first video I watched when I got up this morning. Although, if you really must know, I wasn't up when I watched it. I was still sitting in bed. You posted a little too early for me to catch it when it immediately came out. That's the problem with you UKers over there, you Scots, Brits, Welsh, and Irish. You have the temerity, the absolute rudeness to go live before we Americans are out of bed. And I find that totally, totally petty just because we rebelled from you 224 years ago and you hold a grudge like that. I mean, it's one thing after another. It was the freaking War of 1812. And then it was the Oregon incident. And then there was the colonial Africa incidents. Somebody almost derailed there. And then you suckered us into World War I. And then we had to come out and bail you World War II. And what do you give us in return? The Spice Girls. Come on, UK. It's time to bury the hatchet. Hello, Lee. How are you, sir? Winston, you changed your name. My layout, as you see right now, and let me go to the big view. You guys have been stuck on that one picture. Your question is actually a lot harder than than you would think it would be for me to say yes, no. Yes, a lot of things are lit up. I do not have street lights or anything in right now because nothing on this table, because I don't want to call it a layout, even though I just did. Nothing on this table stays where it is except the station and the bus terminal. Everything else is just thrown on this table so it looked like I had a layout going. And I am starting to wonder, I'm going to have to do a massive track cleaning this week. Because all of a sudden I'm getting just a little pause. It might just be the house, in all honesty. We have had the air conditioner running nonstop for a week at least. And so yeah, sometimes the lights will dim and so forth. So maybe that's what's going on. Because we have a lot of electric going right now. Anyhow, so things are lit up, but nothing is really permanent. And if you're new to my channel, you have to know I work very slowly. I get one project done a year and I'm done. About a year and a half ago, I finished building the Dumb and Horse City Station. And then this year, I just finished building the rail. And this table has been up for 3 years. The first year was laying the track. So, do it again, bow. By the way, if you want, you're all spanners, you're all moderators. If you want to post a link to your channel, feel free, or any other channel you feel needs a shout out, as long as it is a train related channel, model trains or modeling channel of any kind. We do not need any gay Puerto Rican whale porn sites loaded up on here. So, as is customary, I'll do a quick plug-in and you can see what's lit up and what's not lit up. All right, good. Everything's working. I think everybody's got their interior lights on. All right, yes, it's very dark. It's kind of hard to see, but I'll try to give you some of the lights, and I got to make sure I did turn everything on that should be on. So let's go to station view. So yes, you can see my bus station and the train station are lit up. The train station doesn't look as well lit up because, well, the canopies are solid, hard canopies, so the light only shines down. The bus has glass, so the light shine upwards as well. The glass canopies on the bus station. Let's see what other view is worthwhile. From the 11 lane, you can see there's a little bit lit up this way. There's a small station that the trains stop at. But you can see all my trains do light up. I think I've got the lights on, everybody. Yes, so if you look in the background, you might see a little bit of lighting. But here they all come through. And then from the village view, you can see the station in the background, and you can't really see the bus station. And you can't really see the far station because I don't have a camera on that side. But, yep, that is how it kind of all looks. Whoops, let's go to station view. So, yes, I do have some things lit up. Hi, David Cottesmore. Thought I scanned you anyhow. I know, announce you, Sir Cottesmore. So that is, things are lit up. I will take the time in a minute here. I'm going to go turn the lights back on. My layout is a mixture of prototype and non-prototype. My trains are mostly prototypical, but I'm a full follower of Rule 1. Rule 1, it's your layout, do what you want. Make your trains any way you want. Put steam with ICE passenger cars. Don't care. If you're happy, I enjoy it. But my track is not prototypical. And I'm not talking just the design as you look at it. I seem to take a little time each live stream and explain the Märklin C track, but I'll try not to go into it. I run Märklin trains. Märklin is a German company. It is the largest model train company in the world. If you don't know the name Märklin, maybe you know their G-size trains through the company LGB, or their DC version trains under the company name Trix. They also own Schuko model cars. So I am a very slow worker. My original goal, and still my primary goal, is I will be building the city of Delmenhorst. 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 It is a city in Germany that I have spent 15 summers in. And it's sort of my German hometown. And so we're in this picture, you see all those buildings. That's not where those buildings are going to be. Many of those buildings will be in the final layout. Many of them will be given away. I picked these up at what we call in America garage sales. I don't know if you have garage sales in Germany. You have boot sales and things like that. But I just wanted some buildings to throw on my table to make it less empty. But I custom made the train station that is entirely scratch built. The bus station is a combination of scratch built with some kit bashing, if you will. The canopies I made from, I took from a kit. But let's go back to this view. I just like to run trains. So same message I give at least twice every live stream I do in the 2 weeks since I started doing live streams. But I'm bored, people. There's only so much tennis and walks my wife can make me take and yard work I can do. Since I don't go back to work till August. And even running trains down here by myself can just be a little boring. All right, John, if you're leaving, thanks. Take care. Or wow, David, I'm honored and hope it doesn't let you down. When I first decided to build a train table to become a layout, I just watched a bunch of American videos and they were all doing foam board. The thing I like about foam board is you can, even as an underlayment, one, it's a sound reducer, so it does the same thing as cork. It's a vibration remover, so it's the same thing as cork. But you can buy a lot of scenics and like trees and that, and you just pop them in. You just punch them down. I've discovered there's maybe a couple of downsides to cork, such as putting in a Fowler car system. Or not cork, foam board. It would have been easier to have done a Fowler car system with a hard table and then using plaster to build up the roadway. Yep, that is the air conditioner kicking on. Every time the air conditioner kicks on, I get a blink here. I can't wait to see the electric bill next month. Yeah, Steve, I love this. This is why I've started doing live stream. I don't know if it was coming out the wrong way earlier, but I've been on a ton of live streams because literally I'm not working right now. And I'm also under doctor's orders for some various health issues, nothing too serious. But between back injury and just hitting the line of diabetic, I've been ordered to lose weight because I have ballooned up. I got into the 280s, and I spent my 20s, 30s, and early 40s around 225 to 230. And I hit 300 at one point in the year 2008, and then lost a lot of weight, went down to 245, 250. But in the last 3-4 years, I have gained a lot of weight, and I got near 290 again. And my doctor, my cholesterol was high, my blood sugar had just hit the lowest level of diabetic, and he said, lose weight or else. So I have dropped about 22, 23 pounds in the last 2-3 months. I'd like to lose about 20 more. All right, thanks, Cottesmore. We'll see you. But yes, guys, you are just watching my trains go in circles like I watch my trains go in circles. And if you don't mind that, I don't mind that, because it's what I'd probably be doing right now anyhow. Actually, I'd probably be trying to convince myself to clean the track again or do some wiring on the Fowler car system, but I'd rather just talk to people. Hi, Jackie. Welcome. Good to see you. Again, I do not have any no advertising. Just type it in. You don't have to announce it every 5 minutes that you're going live. Just if you're going live or have a usual, I know the people that I know when your live streams are, and I try not to get in the way. I accidentally screwed up Richard Brown at Trains in the Attic, and I felt really bad about that because I just got carried away. Hey, I think I'll start a live stream today. But yeah, if Winston's still here, I have very minimal scenics on the actual tracks. I was just experimenting, and I'll add grass and tufts and things like that. Was trying to work on the German Ballastine, which is a little different, and of course the track is different. Everybody's leaving that. Let's do long run. We haven't done a long run shot, so we'll try to catch a couple of guys in the long run. The railjet's coming around. Both railjets are coming around. Yeah, if you had asked me 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, rule one, would I do a live stream? I said, it was no, I'm not going to do live streams. And I had put up a couple of videos with my OSB where I recorded my multi-train views and everything. And yeah, I'm ignoring the phone because 99% of them are commercial calls. Hi, would you like a new roof? Hi, would you be willing to vote for? Hi, we'd like a donation for. So we have caller ID, so we just ignore them. The people that need to get a hold of us, they have our cell phone numbers. I should just get rid of the house phone, but it's actually cheaper to have the house phone with the internet. And let's see, we got internet, cable, and Wi-Fi all through one local company, and they're really good. But it's actually cheaper if you had the phone than to just pay for the internet and the cable separately. So we've still got a landline. Hey, Leslie Gilpin, good to see you. All right, let's go back to the all view. And to quote Kenny Everett, I need a little drinky poo. Why did you turn on? Stay on. Okay, I'm back with a little drinky poo. All in with your daily walk. My daily walk goes in the evening, about 8 o'clock in the evening. Mrs. takes me walkies. For you UK people, you can get a giggle out of that. She now mandates that I get out and do a 2-mile walk every evening. Let's see, which one? Where is he? Where is he? Yes, that is about 1 o'clock in the morning for you, AS, but it's 8 in the evening for me. We have dinner and then relax for a bit, and then Mrs. looks at me and says, "Are you ready to go for your walk?" And I start jumping up and down and run to the door. You don't have to apologize, Chris. It's okay to have someone at the door. They ran smoothly the first, but Friday and today I'm getting that little shutdown every time the air conditioner kicks on. Yeah, Paul McCartney and Wings, yes. Do us a favor, open the door and let him in. Yeah, yeah. Now I've asked and nobody ever seems to really respond. Do you guys have a particularly favorite view here? I mean, do you like the station view? Nobody's there right now. The village view. And there goes somebody into the station. Here comes somebody else into the station. The village view. The 11 lane, because I always like the 11 lane when all the trains are in it, when you just suddenly get all the trains there at one time. Yes, it's not really prototypical because you usually don't have 6 trains running next to each other, but I like it. The Czech and the Austrian Railjet passing each other. The long run, which I don't show enough, in all honesty. I probably should. Speaking of long run, the Railjets will be through there. Hello, Heath. How are you? How hot is it in New York? The problem with this particular view is it's often the emptiest. Sometimes I run my trains where you have them coming down, and you'll have a couple of trains coming down at you, but usually I have them going the other way. But yeah, we're going to have a little bit of traffic here with all 3 of them very soon here. There you go. That's a little bit of busyness there. And if you haven't noticed, yes, I do alternate the traffic, so I never have 2 trains next to each other going the same direction. Yes, you can see your host in this view. I do like to know what the people who are talking look like. A lot of you don't ever show your faces. I do like to know... Oops, missed by 1. I do like to know what a person looks like and have a voice and a face. You know, we can all joke about our appearance and stuff, but we're humans, you know? So let me know if there's a particular view you think is more interesting. I mean, the village view is the one that looks most like a layout. You see trees and buildings and a station in the background, tracks with some moronic ballastine in it and so forth. But also, like the long view, you rarely have trains in the view. But we are going to have some coming here. We're going to have a... Oops. I did the wrong one. Swing and a miss. Strike two. Lee is shopping. Okay. That's all right. Lee can go shopping. Yep, the 11 lane is dull right now. That's the wild one, is sometimes you get... And here he's coming up the ramp. And here he's coming into the station. The Regio Bahn 4411 to Hanover Hauptbahnhof is now boarding. Passenger should be getting on. And off he goes on his way to Hanover. All right. So I probably should be No, Heath, actually I will be off by noon today because I have I've got to do lunch and then I'm making lasagna for my daughter's birthday. So this will actually be a fairly short stream. I'll be off in by half an hour, 40 minutes. Well, at least I've sorted that problem out. Now that I've got the door open, I can hear that, yeah, this slowdown is every time the air conditioner kicks back on. Hey, there was a cat in the background there. Here's a nice up the ramp view, that gorgeous ICE3. I don't know, some people can call it boring, but I think the German ICE3s, that pure bright white with the red stripe is just very, very cool looking. Not a lot of fancy colors to it, but yes, having said that, my favorite is the Austrian railjet, followed by the Czech railjet. You'll see the Czech railjet coming in from the bottom left-hand corner. Here's the Austrian railjet right now. So there's the Czech with that two shades of blue and white, and then the magenta, dark gray, and red of the Austrian railjet. And that's my favorite. Cue the layout map. Okay. I hate to call it a layout. It's a train table, but yes, here is the map. Welcome, Ewood Railway. So, if you want to know what you're looking at, this rendering of my train table was done by my friend Vinnie Van Gogh. Vinnie specializes in all kinds of artwork as well as occasional extracurricular activities, but Vinnie Van Gogh drew this up so that people could understand my layout. I am right in the middle and sitting at the control area with my tablet, my Central Station 3, and my laptop, which is the camera you're seeing me with. And so on the right-hand side, there's really nothing there. There's what we call the little station and the big station, and that's just crap I put there. And that will eventually become the station area Bremen, which is a very large station which Delmenhorst feeds into. On the left-hand side, that way, is the city of Delmenhorst, although this is not laid out as Delmenhorst yet. The only thing that is pure Delmenhorst is the station and the bus center, the ZOB, ZOB as it's called in German. Everything else is just houses I put around until I build the city. If I go to the village view, this corner right there where you see trees and a couple of apartment buildings, that actually is where the town hall will be and the market square. And then the main pedestrian zone will be a long road across the other way, which then cuts left and leads to the train station as it does in reality. The difference is, in reality, there are 3 blocks of housing and buildings and shops, and I'll be doing 2 mini blocks. So it'll be a rendering, not a accurate. But the station is 100% accurate. And the bus station is 90% accurate. I did modify the roof a bit. Alright, so nobody's home here. Village view. We got everybody on the village view here. So we're running an Austrian Railjet. And I'll go through the trains again. Most of you have been around enough. I think now through the 5 live feeds I've done, you have seen all my trains. There's one train you haven't seen, my ICE one, because I don't run him. He needs work. And then I have a 146-2 Regiobahn locomotive that I have not run. He's just kind of a spare. He's the first locomotive I ever bought. Not the first train, but the first locomotive I ever bought. Now let's see what's happening in Long. Up the ramp's looking good. I am not reading the chat again. I apologize, people. Hi, Richard Brown. Hi, Peter Shaw. Hello, Bo Jensen. Hey, if you're new here and haven't chimed in, tell us a little about yourself. I like to know the people that are visiting. So we got Ewood Railway and Bo Jensen. So anyhow, I'm going to go to the 11-lane view here. The I run all German trains. So if you are totally new here, I do Germany. I'm an American. I'm in Toledo, Ohio. That's about 50 miles south of Detroit, although I'm 60 miles south of Detroit. And, about 100 miles or so west of Cleveland. 120 miles west of Cleveland. But anyhow, I run German trains, HO scale. I do what's called 3-rail track because the company whose trains I tend to run do 3-rail trains. So if you look at the tracks closely here, you'll see there's a little nub in the middle. Where's my pointer stick? If you look here, you can see there's a little nub in the middle of the track. That's the 3rd rail. That's actually the power rail. Who's your German supplier, Bo? I use Model Bond Shop Lipa from Detmold. They are by far the cheapest shop, online shop in Germany, although they have a real shop. They used to have two. They had one in Bremen, which I got to visit once, and then the owner decided he wanted to rent it out to something else, so he did not renew their rent license in Germany. So they had to shut that store down. But their official store is in Detmold. Oh, you do Hartle. Gotcha. This actually is an interesting mix today because I am running all my non-Märklin trains today. Not all the trains running are non-Märklin, but my Czech railjet that just went by, that's from the German company Pico, P-I-K-O. The Austrian railjet is from Roco, R-O-C-O, Roco. And that's it for my non-Märklin trains. All my other trains are Märklin. I do have a Brava locomotive, but I replaced it with a my wife has given me permission to sell it, and gave you permission. She bought it for me as a very cool Christmas gift a few years ago, and it was a high-end locomotive, but Märklin came out with a version that I really, really liked and wanted on my layout, and we bought it last year. We bought it last summer while we were in Germany, and so, it's sort of like I've got two identical locomotives. What do I do with the one that I no longer use? Tell you what, I'll be back in a second. I don't think it's down here, is it? Yes, it is. All right, prepare for a horrifying shock. I don't know how well, yeah, you should be able to see that pretty well. This is the first locomotive my wife ever bought for me. I told her to get me the cheap Märklin one. She went and got a Brava. Now this is a class, as you can see down here, 146.2, 146.5, which is technically what this is. The 185.2 was similar to this, except it was freight and wouldn't have been in white. So they just had one generic box for them. But it's basically the same locomotive, just with subtle differences. And this is the 146.5. Now, what's the difference between a 146.2 and a 146.5? Nothing on the outside. On the inside, in reality, not even on the outside model, in reality, they fixed a couple of safety features on the compressors and everything inside. This is an electric locomotive, but they had to fix a couple of things. The company Siemens did. And this is or Bombardier, I'm sorry. So this is a Trax locomotive. I need to sell this. It's in great condition, probably has about 30 to 50 hours of running time on it. It's a gorgeous locomotive. No, Chris, this is not freight. This is passenger service. Hence, it's in white with the red stripe. High-speed passenger service. If a locomotive or a car is white with a red stripe, that means it's high-speed passenger service. But this is HO3 rail. So all my 00 scale guys, this would run on your track, but it's 3 rail. It would fry your power systems if you're DC or DCC, but technically my Central Station 3 is DCC, but you get the idea. You're 2 rail, not 3 rail. So this is a 3 rail version. It's by Brava. This was $420 originally. I can't believe my wife spent that much money. Just proves she loves me, or she wanted something. I don't know. Yeah, you can bid $5. You're not going to get accepted, but you can bid $5. Although, Heath, I don't think this would fit on your N gauge. This thing is heavy, too. I should get a scale and weigh it, but I don't have that kind of a scale. I don't want to mess with it too much. I hate to take it out, but it is a gorgeous locomotive. I'm just going to leave it in its block of ice. I don't want to mess with it and risk dropping it here. But yes, I need to put that on eBay. I don't know why I haven't, but partly the sentimental reasons, because it's the first locomotive my wife bought for me. She's bought me two. The other one's my freight locomotive. All right, let's look at some trains instead of me. Well, we're not going to see trains there. Let's look up the ramp. Hey, we're going to see a train there. Jackie, it would not go on lees. It is a different powering system. It would fry lees out. You'd have to go 3-rail with it. Lee would have to completely convert all his tracks. So unfortunately, it would not work on lees. Literally, if you run DC or DCC, you could not have that train on it unless you wanted to pay, about 75 pounds to get it converted to DC, and that might be a lowball estimate. So unfortunately, it would not go. Personally, I would not want to get rid of it for less than $250. So that'd be about 200 pounds? Because it is a high-end locomotive. Like I said, it was $420 new, so I'd be looking at about half price at $200 to $220, $250. But like I said, I'm not, if Lee wanted it to have on a shelf, I'd clearly sell it to him, but it would not work on his system. Hey, Ray Bubble, welcome. How are you, sir? Got to give you a wrench now. I'm sorry, I called it a wrench. That's what I call it. It's a spanner, I know, but I'm just a simple little man from Toledo, Ohio, and I don't know fancy tech terms like spanner. I just call it a wrench. Lee likes DCC. Yeah, Chris, sell him on that one. No, when I got into trains, I didn't know what I was doing. As everybody knows the story, I had no clue of what I was doing. I just wanted a German ICE train, and I found one on eBay for a decent price. I bought it and found out it was Märklin, and that meant nothing to me. I needed track, so I looked up Märklin track. My kids for Christmas bought me a giant oval of Märklin track and a Märklin controller, the mobile station, and I'll go back to this. This is the basic Märklin controller. This is called a Mobile Station 2. I don't know why they call it a mobile station when it's tethered. You're not really mobile. Now it is a 5 meter, no, not 5 meter, 2 meters. So it's about 7 foot cord on it. It does give you a little room, but you're not truly mobile with this. This is their basic, and this by itself, not even with the power pack, cost about $100. With the power pack, it's about $120. So again, around 100 pounds, give or take. But this is their basic controller for digital. And they're really easy to use. I have videos up on my page. But I have the Central Station 3. But with the Central Station 3, similar to the Z21, I can put everything on my tablet. I don't know if that's going to show up. But you can see I'm controlling 4 of my trains from my tablet. I can't lift up my Central Station 3 and show it to you. But but with the Central Station 3, you have your own controller. You don't need its router, Wi-Fi. The Central Station 3 has its own computer screen, its own functionality. You can plug it straight into the track and start running your trains. You need internet for your Central Station 3 if you want to upgrade or download information into it, but it's ready to roll, where with the Z21 you do have to have the router, which comes with it, and then you have to have a tablet or a smartphone. So there's no cons to any of these systems. I prefer the Central Station 3 over the Z21, but there's the reason the Z21 is $200 to $300 depending on which version. Actually, $200 to $400 depending on which version. And the Central Station 3, it would be $500. Well, I got mine for $490, but I think in England you'd see it for about 550 pounds, 500 to 550 pounds for the basic version. For the super version called the CS3 Plus, maybe 600 pounds to 700 pounds. Let me see. Who did I miss? What did I miss? Hey, Donegal Dad. I am so not paying attention to the chat stream. Yeah, you're a Smurf now. I'm going way back now, just checking. No, I don't use the watermark feature on YouTube. They already know I'm using them, so screw them. I don't even have the watermark on my OBS system, which is how you're watching all my trains go in circles on the little brown mat. I got about about half an hour before I have to cut this. I was just, again, I was bored. We are in a massive heat wave here in Toledo, Ohio. Can't even go outside. By 10 o'clock, it's 86, 87 degrees, 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's just yucky. I don't like the heat. There's a reason I live in the northern part of the United States. I don't like heat. I'll be wearing a t-shirt at 0 degrees. Celsius or Fahrenheit. So let me catch up with this. I try to read everything, but I don't read them out loud. Well, hi, Allie. Thanks for stopping in. So, yes, everybody has a spanner. Just call me insane for doing it, but everybody gets a spanner. Yeah, in Towson there, Ray, I'm sure you guys are having it, if not worse, because you're a little further south than us. But in Toledo, Ohio, we're not used to it at this time of year. Usually the first week of July is usually upper 70s, early 80s, and we get a little bit of rain. We usually have rain around the 4th. But we have had 2 weeks of 85 plus and no rain. The last 7 days have been over 90. The last 4 days have been over 95. We were 97 yesterday, 98 today, 97 tomorrow, 95 on Wednesday, and then we're cooling down to 88 on Thursday. And we're just not used to that at this time of year here. And with being out of work, I'd rather be outside, but we don't go to the gym for obvious reasons. Which we would normally be doing. We do get up really early, like 7 in the morning, and we go play tennis at the park before the temperatures get too hot and the sun gets too brutal, because that's my exercise regimen. And then late in the evening, 8-ish or later, after the sun is kind of behind the trees, then I do my evening walk. My wife takes me on a walk. Jackie, if you look closely, you do have a spanner. Yeah, Ray, that's the same thing here. We have not had rain here in 2 weeks. Yeah. So normally at this time, I might be out in my yard, either just sitting in the yard, working in the yard, admiring the plants and flowers and watching the tomatoes grow and such. But right now, I stay in the house. I hate the heat. I'm a cold weather person. I hate the heat. By the way, I just got done watching your two-parter, Ray. I just watched your two-parter on doing that turntable. They must be interesting mechanisms, because I have not seen a layout anywhere in Germany, the Netherlands, Switzerland, France, Canada, the United States, the UK, where when somebody has a turntable, they're not talking about fixing it, getting it fixed, or having already fixed it. I personally never and don't plan on putting a turntable in, but your video was a really clever and cool fix. And again, put the link. Everybody here, put a link to your page. I have no problem with you advertising your pages or anybody else's page you think deserves a link, as long as the page is train or model related. I do not need links to any gay Puerto Rican whale porn, okay? We don't need that. But if you've got a friend's site or your site and you want a link, you've got an announcement for a coming video, put it in. When you go live, put it in. And eventually Kieran, J94, will come on and tell you, by the way, don't just click on somebody's page or subscribe to it. Actually, YouTube has not gotten that militant or has backed off being militant about it. I have subscribed to a couple of pages where I have yet to look at a video because I'm backlogged and they have not taken away my subscription. I just joined a channel called Wendy's Rails, and I've got to go through her videos. I've been going through Ray's because, man, you got a lot of videos, Ray. But I do. If I see a channel and I join, I'm going to watch as many of your videos as I can. And right now, I can watch a lot. What did I do, Leslie? What did I do? Oh, what about Liverpool football? I love Liverpool football. Come on, you can look in picture one. Here, let's get it up in big view. No, you can't see it in that view. What about in village view? Nope, you can't see it in that view. Nope, only in the multi-view. Yes, you can see my Liverpool banner hanging up. I'm angry with Liverpool, Jackie. Yes, I'm glad they won, but they played like shite, shall we say. They played like shite the first 80 minutes of the game. Again. In fact, even before the COVID break, they were playing very below their talent level once they had kind of wrapped up that they were going to win. In fact, ever since Jurgen gave them those 2 weeks off right around Christmas and let the stars go off on vacation, they came back and have not quite been the same. And they looked sad against Everton, and they looked pathetic against Man City. They looked okay. They looked good against Crystal Palace, and then I thought they looked like crap yesterday, other than Mane's goal. And then let's hear it for the kid, Jones, getting his first real game goal. I know he scored the goals for Liverpool when Jurgen called the youth team up, but the under-21s up, but that was his first goal with the real team. And that was nice. Salah set him up nicely. So there, I've talked Liverpool football, and Chris is already putting his fingers in his ears going, la, 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 la. Chris, I agree. You just forgot one more word with that, Chris. It's man, you suck. You forgot the suck part. Man, you suck. It goes like that. Man, you suck. Just kidding. My daughter, who is pregnant with child, is a Man United fan, Chris. So she's on your side. She'll probably raise that child to be a horrible Man United fan as well, but I don't know. Grandpa will be doing a lot of babysitting, so that child shall grow up to love Liverpool football and trains, if I have any say in the matter. Bye! Okay, Leslie, I've said way too many words. What word was a good Anglo-Saxon word? Yes, Ray has a fantastic layout. His is a fictional layout based on a real area, or a real layout based on a fictional area. Running from Richmond, Virginia to Harrisburg, PA. And for those of you across the pond who don't study American geography, I believe Harrisburg is the capital of Pennsylvania. My son-in-law is from Philadelphia, so... And one of my wife and I, one of our best friends, Deb, is originally from Pittsburgh. She lives in central Michigan now, but she is from Pittsburgh, so we got to listen to that Pittsburghese accent. Yins. How yins doing? We went over to the Giant Eagle. It's not Giant Eagle. Giant Eagle is a big, like, Myers grocery store, department store. The Giant Eagle, except in Pittsburgh, it's the Giant Eagle. The Giant Eagle. And they don't say you all, it's yins. How yins doing? And yes, Richmond is the capital of Virginia. Yes. A distant uncle of mine, back in the Civil War, managed to avoid conflict in Richmond multiple times. We've got a little... I'm a history buff, and so this American Civil War is one of those things I do study and learn, but I don't want to bring up the Civil War, but other than I had a distant uncle, my great-great-grandfather's brother, named Reuben, and Reuben fought for the Union Army, and we've got all his military papers. But here is the funny thing. He fought with Grant's army, so he was at Shiloh. And it's Battle of Shiloh. Reuben R. Dodge, missing. And then 3 days later, Reuben R. Dodge returned. He's on the roll call again. And then he got transferred with the Army of the Potomac, so... he's with Meade's army, and Battle of Gettysburg. After the battle, Reuben Dodge, MIA, and then like a week later, Reuben Dodge is on the roll call. We have this for like 7 different battles, including Cold Harbor, where Reuben is MIA immediately after the battle and then shows up. We think Reuben kind of started marching with the troops and then went to the left. Go ahead, fellas. I'm right behind you all the way. Right behind you. A little bit further behind you. Now I'm way behind. But it is hilarious that this one relative, Reuben Dodge, we've got him missing in action at every major battle of the Civil War that he was involved in. And yet he was never arrested for... He was never arrested or shot or hung for treason or cowardice, but he managed to be missing in action in every battle. Oh, right, shite with the E, gotcha. I have a lot of UK vernacular stuck in me because of Beatles, Monty Python, Young Ones. That's why every time I watch a couple of your guys' channels, I'm trying to think which one, but somebody is sending somebody else a helicopter or whatever, and they keep calling it a chopper, and I start giggling, and I'm wondering why nobody else in the UK is giggling. Because chopper was a clear slang word for a certain male body part. And I keep seeing, yeah, that chopper should be coming to you soon. I'll be sending you my chopper later, or did you get my chopper yet? And I'm like, no. Why aren't you giggling? No, not another history joke. True story, Reuben. And no, nobody in my family's had Reuben ever since. You guys will find I will tell you anything, all embarrassing, stupid stuff about myself. I just fill up the airwaves with insane stuff. But it's all true. Everything I tell you here, unless I specifically say it's a joke, is true. Like being named after a mafia hitman is true. My dad didn't know he was a mafia hitman when he named him after me, but it came out later. But Here's another little bit about my name, is my brother and I broke a Dodge family tradition, and we actually went by our first names. All my cousins and uncles and great uncles and grandparents and great grandparents, they all went by their middle names. My dad was Oliver Howard Dodge. He went by Howard. My grandfather was Howard Havel Dodge. He went by Havel. My uncle was Richard Dale Dodge. He went by Dale. My cousin David is Richard David Dodge. He went by David. And then it was Michael Gregory Dodge. He went by Greg, all the way back. But I'm Anthony Scott Dodge, and I go by Anthony. And my brother was John Charles Dodge, and he went by John. We broke that tradition of going by middle names. Oh my God, Ray, the Are You Being Served? It's kind of dated now, but I'm free. Oh my God, the cat jokes. If I'm not home by 5 p.m., my pussy gets upset. And how they got away with that in 1970s, I don't know. But they did. Chris, I thought you were named after an astronaut. This is Major Chris to ground control. My green screen is a mess. And I think my spacesuit's just a bit too big. Maybe I should get myself a better wig. For here am I sitting with my laptop. All right, Leslie, you win the coolest history and most honorable history of a name. Yours is the exact opposite. You were named in honor of somebody who gave his life for our country in a brutal war. Or for your country in a brutal war. And here, me, I was named after a guy who killed people for a living. All right, people, you vote. Which one's cooler? Yeah, your stream was great today. But see, the thing with me, because a lot of you have bought used trains, you know how to fix used trains. Ray, he's got trains 40, 50, 60 years old that he repairs and puts out on his layout, and they're gorgeous. All my trains are less than 10 years old. I bought new, so I wouldn't have to fix anything, and I still wouldn't know how to fix them. I'd have to break one to fix it. But I'm too lazy. I send them off to get fixed. Wow, there is nobody here right now. I mean, on this page. There comes a couple of guys through. Every now and then it just lines up and all 6 will be in picture at once here. Again, this is kind of the coolest picture. It's got a little more visual interest to it. Where's up the ramp? Nav station. But that's the only thing that's wrong, as a couple of people point out. My platforms for this station are not long enough for the really long trains. But that was a sort of a sacrifice I had to make to put the station here where I thought it worked best in terms of what I wanted to build with the layout. I could have put it right in the middle of the layout. I could have put the station right in the middle where you see that green swath, big green rectangle in the middle. I could have put my station there, but I didn't. And then my platforms could have been prototypical. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under 16. The language, themes, and attitude and the personality of the presenter was not suitable for his own children when they were young, and he was a permissive parent, yet he behaved this way anyhow. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence. And any rebroadcast or transmission of this stream without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Yes, Leslie, I've seen that with UK, and I love you guys in the UK. And I am amazed at how many times you guys get literally new stock from Bachman, Dapol, Helgen, and not Hattons, Hornby. And how many of them are in very, let's say, not perfect shape, brand new out of the box. And all I can tell you is in the 4 years I've been in the hobby, nobody's here right now. In the 4 years I've been in the hobby, talking to Germans at German train shops, going to train shows here in America, and talking to people, I can only tell you that in HO, Dapol and Helgen do not have respectable reputations. They are not considered very good for HO. Now, I've heard Dapol makes some very good 00, and their G scale stuff is supposedly really good. That's fine, but in HO, or as you British say, HO, it's, and to be honest, Hornby and Bachman do not have great reputations, although Hornby, of course, doesn't make HO, it's 00. Oh, hi, Chris, homemade. Yeah, I've got to get going here in a few minutes and eat lunch and start making lasagna, so I'll actually be signing off in about 7 minutes or so. Atlas, Kato, and BLI. Kato, I thought, had a very good reputation. Atlas is like the one I see the most. MTH and Atlas, like, we don't have a hobby store that does, well, we've got what's called Hobbytown USA. It's a hobby store. And they have a small train section. And, of course, it's almost all, well, it is all American, Canadian, North American trains. Atlas is probably the biggest dealer I see, and then there's MTH. But again, when I watch streams, MTH always seem to be considered really good. Atlas, I don't really know what their reputation is. Kato has always been, I thought, had a good reputation. And I'm not familiar with BLI. I just know when I look at what you get from Bachman and 00, and for the same, well, you can't buy the same things for the same price. But if you were to spend, let's say, 300 pounds on a Bachman or Hornby Loco, which seems to be kind of high end for them, you still can get a better one in Germany. Of course, it's German locomotives. But the quality of build, I feel, is just better. I mean, my Roco, my Pico, I did have another Pico at one time, but I sold it. My Americans, they were quality out of the box. You could just feel and see the quality. The only,
my ICE and the Railjets are plastic cases, except the locomotives are metal case. And you just feel the weight and you feel the quality in the build. Okay, Mark is leaving. Aethern, that's the other one I was forgetting. Aethern or Aethern. Okay, so Mark is leaving. Bye, Mark. Thanks for stopping in. Like I said, I am going to be getting off in about 6 minutes here. I don't know what I'm going to eat for lunch. Since I'm making lasagna and we're having birthday cake, I'm going to eat a really light lunch. Yeah, today's my oldest daughter's 28th birthday. Oldest daughter, my youngest daughter. She's 28 today. My son will be 25 tomorrow. Our two youngest kids, their birthdays are exactly 3 years and 6 hours apart. That means October must have been a wild month for Mr. and Mrs. Dodge. Never mind. Well, then again, hey. But yeah, our July birthdays, although Elizabeth was actually due at the end of June, and boy, she was stubborn before she came out of the womb. I will not be born. In fact, the only reason she was born is the doctor said, hey, if you don't go into labor tomorrow, we'll induce. And my daughter went into labor that day. It was like, yeah, she's about a week late. Actually, she was more like 2 weeks late. And she was a big baby, too. 10 pounds. Because she was, as we say, overcooked. Chris, if she wanted to come down and run the trains, I would happily let her, but she has no interest in my trains whatsoever. She has no interest in anything that isn't Korean K-pop bands, as they're called, Chinese and Korean pop music, video games, and plants. She is her degree is in, what is it, agricultural design, agricultural engineering and design, and she works at a home improvement store. She's got a degree where she could design and build your lawn for you, but she works at a home improvement store, and when we try to tell her, get a job, go out and do it, but, she doesn't want to do the grunt work where you have to, when you're working in the lawn industry, you start off by mowing the lawns, and she doesn't want to do that grunt work. She hits comfort zones. She has comfort zones, and she doesn't like to leave us. She likes the job she has, and that's where she's at. Hey, Dundee Road, thanks for stopping by. I will be ending the stream in about 3 minutes or so. I want to thank everybody who came in. I didn't expect this many at this time. The problem is, Chris, you would plant real trees, and then my layout would be in trouble in a couple of years. And the kid knows her stuff. She is brilliant. She has, what is that term, feng shui? Oh my God, this girl, she just knows how things should be arranged. She just has a natural sense of how everything is located. When she was 10 years old, check that, 12 years old, she went to Germany for the first time with my students. And handed her a map real quick. She looked at the map, and for the next few years, she was my map person. She knew where everything was. She didn't need the map anymore. She goes to a German city once. We go to these places, and the next year is like, Dad, you turn right here. Dad, you turn left here. Dad, it's right down the road over there. She didn't even have the map anymore. She just has an amazing spatial memory. She just knows how things are connected and how they should be connected. And, all right, we'll see you, Jackie. But yeah, she's great that way. But, like I said, when she was little, she had pneumonia like 3 times in 2.5 years, or 3 times in 3 years, something like that, and just lung damage. So, yeah, it was really frustrating. All right, we are going to start slowing people down and bringing them to a stop. I know I should be stopping them at the station, but yeah, I'll park them all later. I'll just shut it all down for now. Okay, hey everybody. I want to thank you all for stopping out. And I will hopefully see you on some various people's streams as the day allows. I don't know if I'll be on many streams today. I'm sorry. I will be cooking lasagna and we're celebrating birthdays. So I will see you then. Until that time, take care. Nice having y'all.